What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Also, you look amazing. We got a story time for you guys, and this is actually a part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1, make sure you go and check it out. You already know by the title, this is my worst Tinder dates / Bumble dates, but you know, whatever. I think I've been on the worst dates of like all time. My third date, tall muscles, tattoos. You already know by now my type, right? Comes over, which you would have thought I would have learned from like the last guy. Dude comes over, brings beers, whatever. He's like trying to stay, obviously, because you know, men just want to stay to like bang. And I'm like, no, I want drinks. You're gonna take me out for dinner. We're gonna get wings and drinks. I'm drunk at this point, and it's like a mild case of drunk. So I forgot my mask, obviously pandemic season. I don't think he has one. We go to this restaurant, we walk in without masks, and they're like, oh hey, like you guys need masks. I'm like, oh, like, you know, understandable, let's just go home and get the mask. And Buddy, my date, is like, what the fuck, none of these people are wearing masks, yelling at the server and like the staff and everyone, and just like making a scene. In restaurants, like, you can't eat with a mask on. God, I really know how to pick them. So he's like making a scene. He's like going to other people being like, you have your mask on, or you don't have your mask on, whatever. And I'm like, you know what, bring a round of shots, because this is just too much. So he ends up just being like, fine, like, how much are the masks here? And I think they're like $7 for, let me show you what we paid. We paid $7 for 2 of these. I think it might have been $7 each, I don't know. It was obviously ridiculous, and he was not happy about it. I keep saying to the server, I am so sorry about this. Like, I understand, I work in like guest services. Like, I understand, I'm so sorry. My date's like, why are you sorry? What the fuck? Like, there's nothing to be sorry about. And I'm like, oh my God. And then, so we end up getting kicked out of this restaurant. Thank God we have our mask, because we go to another one, even though I should have yeeted home. And I was thinking about it, but I'm like, oh my God, like, he's buying me drinks and food, let me just stay. I just can't get over that he was screaming at my server. So red flag right in my fucking face. I'm stressed out talking about this. Ends up paying, and like the bill, this is actually really funny. You know the like the machine, the like credit card machine, the little one, I don't know what you call it. There's like the paper that prints the receipt when you work in a restaurant, actually everywhere. So it prints like the receipt, and I think he like opened it or something. I don't know what happened, but this receipt literally flew across the restaurant and just like kept on rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. I'm not being dramatic, it was like went on for like miles. We ended up going home. He's like trying to bang, and I'm like, no, you screamed at a server. Honestly, I would have put out if he didn't scream at the server. That was pretty much it. Didn't get a second date. He does still try, but he will not get one. Fourth date, okay, that I went on. And sometimes I still think about him because he's just so sexy. Like, oh my God, he looks like he just walked off like Vogue magazine or something. He's just so hot. And oh, sorry, when I think of his physical looks, I'm like, oh my God. But then I think about his personality, I'm like, oh yeah. We go out to Shisha, right? He takes me out to Shisha. We're kind of just talking. It's like, you know, cute, casual. And then he's trying to like make out. And I have a thing for PDA. I'm just like, okay, PDA, I'm not into it. It makes me uncomfortable. I can like hold your hand or give you like a kiss every now and then, but like full on making out in like a shisha bar restaurant situation is just like weird to me. So I told him, like, I'm not kissing you in like public. Like, I'm not gonna, because he wasn't just like kissing. He was trying to like full on like make out. And I'm like, oh wait, no. He's just like not talking to me. And I'm just like being silly because I'm trying to lighten up the mood. So eventually he like lightens up, whatever. And then so we go home, we get into the car. I try to kiss him because now it's in private. He's like, no, we're still in public. So he's just being like an asshole. And I'm like, okay, fine, then you don't get your kiss, whatever. And so he drives me home. He didn't even say like goodbye or whatever. I think I said bye, and he's like, okay, bye. And I just like expected more. So he like drives off, and I call him, I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like, why did you just drive? Because I just expect people to be like in love with me, I guess, which don't do that. But I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why is he not obsessed with me? Like, running after me, chasing me. He's like, but do you want me to come back? I'm like, obviously, like, what the fuck? Oh, actually, I was mad because he didn't kiss me goodbye. And so I'm like, what the fuck, like you didn't kiss me. I'm just being like a dumb little bitch. Comes back and he kisses me. I'm like, okay, like, thank you. Bye. I don't know, it's like I'll see the red flags and choose to ignore them. You know, we keep hanging out. On like date number 2 or 3 or something, he's like telling me that he talks to his mom about me. A little bit scared because he's getting super serious. We went on another date and our server sat us. Security ended up coming over to our table because I guess they forgot to ID me because, I don't know, some people think I look like 12, some people think I look like 40. There's no in between. I show my ID and then he hands it back. I'm like, thank you. Like, and I smile at everyone. So I'm like smiling at him. And my date, the Russian guy, is like, why are you smiling at him? Do you like him? Like, obviously, because I just think it's funny. So he's like, well, why don't you go talk to him? It's a good time. We're like laughing. Other than that, like little interaction. Sometimes I don't mind my man like a little bit jealous, but I mean, that was just kind of like too soon to be like acting like that. I mean, you should never really act like that, but it was especially just too much at this stage. We leave the restaurant, go in the car. He like opens the door for me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. I found the one. Honestly, I might call him after this. I'm being so serious. Not a good idea. I won't do it. Okay, so he spends the night. I have like bunnies and a bearded dragon and shit, and he's like he's just being really mean to my bunny. I had one bunny at this time, and he's like, this hurt my feelings, okay? But he's like calling my bunny fat and like saying he's like slow and saying he's gonna like die soon. Just like really weird shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he's like, I think you need to go see like the vet. Like, your bunny needs to go to the hospital. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. This is so funny. First of all, my bunny is in perfect health. It does not need to go to the hospital. It's it's in perfect health. I was going to my parents' house because my grandma had actually passed away. I was telling him like, hey, I need to go back to my parents' house. My grandma passed, whatever. And he doesn't really acknowledge the fact that my grandma passed. I'm just like maybe he doesn't know what funeral, like maybe he's just not understanding because he moved from Russia like 2 years ago. So I'm like, I don't know. He's like, oh, like you need to take the bunny with you because he might like off himself. He's just like so fucking weird. He would like message me weird shit. Like he would literally send me like paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs. And it wasn't like words, it would just be hearts. It was just like psychotic. And I told my friend, I'm like, this is weird, right? Like you don't just send someone like 2 billion hearts. Like this is really weird. And she's like, yeah, you need to end this because that's just like creepy. And there's like, even if you sent me one paragraph of like, you know, a bunch of hearts, this was like it was disgusting. It was like some I'm gonna kill you type shit. I end up going to my grandma's funeral in Waterloo, which is like an hour away from Toronto, and I get there and he's like, why haven't you called me? Like, why haven't you talked to me? Whatever, like, who are you talking to in Waterloo? Whatever. I'm like, I'm literally at my grandma's funeral. Like, I don't understand what's going on. And he's just like so unapologetic. Like, dude, my grandma died. Like, I can't do this. And he's like, you know what, you're dead to me like your grandma is dead. Can you fucking believe that someone would say that? So right then and there, I'm like, garbage, trash, goodbye. That was literal horrific. I've never had someone ever say something like that to me, and I was ready to like burn his fucking house down. I'm still like fired up thinking about the fact that he would just be so disrespectful. Anyways, that's pretty much the end of that with that guy because he's a fucking idiot. That was pretty much my dating experiences in Toronto. I really hope you enjoyed this little like series because it was not enjoyable for me, but hopefully you can learn something from it and see red flags when you're going on dates. And if you live in Toronto and you are looking for like a man in Toronto, maybe do like, you know, Mississauga, Milton, you know, something around those lines, because Toronto is not it for dating. I'll just say that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here and watching this video. Leave a like and a comment before you go. I'm trying to grow this channel, okay? I'm trying to get 200 subscribers, okay? So definitely help me out there and let me know what you want to see next, and I will read all my comments. And I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Bye.